welcome to a new episode of YLA Talk to Sing Song Share and Tell. I'm Jocelyn and this is Jason. I have Vincent here as well with us. Today our topic is I don't know, I feel very deeply about it because it's what must a single know before they can buy their first property. So single like us, and we personally have many single friends, and I serve a lot of single buyers.
Right.
We do understand the challenges and the worries that they have, right? So Vincent, for HDB, what are the challenges that you think singles would have faced?
I think for single, right, there's a lot of complications involved, especially for a single that you intending to buy an HDB flat, right? Let's say for BTO, you must be actually 35 years old and also buying a 2-room flexi at a non-mature estate. So, and also for resale, you can actually go up to any, maybe even jumbo, so can even from 2-room to jumbo. But the thing is that there's no cap to which part of Singapore that you want to stay at. And the next thing is also the MSR. Definitely talk about that. Like single, you also need to take the calculation of your incomes as well. So MSR stands for mortgage servicing ratio. It's just 30% of what your gross income per month, right? And but so definitely comes to the EC executive condo, it's also a different type of a ball game altogether lah. But I won't we'll touch more on that in the next topic also. Yeah, but for Jason, I mean, how do you feel about private? Is it like a different type of rules and regulation altogether?
I think something you talked about just now in terms of how the loan is being calculated. So of course, if you are single, right, there's only one income that you can consider.
Yeah.
And then that also means that the cash is really all on you only, and the CPF is just one person's account. So if you are someone who is relatively younger, the amount that you can afford will be harder. And the main challenge I think for single buyers is also about down payment. Right. So as property prices go a little higher, the down payment that is required is a little more as well. So in terms of the private side, it is the TDSR plus the LTV that is a limiting factor for singles looking to buy into private. Yeah, but that's not to say that singles, they don't have options out there. They do. So for example, like what Vincent mentioned, HDB side, there is still a single scheme. It's just that there's a little more restriction. You can only buy after you are 35. And in terms of either the BTO or resale, there are also different restrictions. Yeah. For example, like Vincent mentioned, the BTO, the options are very, very limited. You can only get 2-room flexi. Resale, your options are a little wider, but also you still have to hit 35 years old. Yeah. Then, Jocelyn, what do you think the singles options are in the private side?
Okay, just before that, I want to touch a little bit of what you mentioned just now about TDSR. Because in HDB, we talk about MSR, which is 30% of your income, right? But TDSR is 55%. So technically, with the same income, you can loan more. And of course, then the range of whatever you are seeking will be a wider range. However, because of property prices right now in the private market, right, some of my clients got priced out. So although they can loan more, but because of the property price have increased, the range of units they can look at has also reduced. So that is one of the things that they have to consider. So I think we need to think about how much loan that one single want to take. So for example, although they can afford a little bit more, but that doesn't mean that they should actually pump in that much money, because I have single friends who say, I do not want to pay like 6-7K of mortgage, although they can afford that much. But okay, so then we will work backwards and we will look at that range of units for them. And I think the next question we need to ask, because we are singles, right? Yeah. We do have options, because right now we can stay with our parents,
right?
We can rent somewhere else. Then the question would be, is this unit for homestay or investment?
That's right.
Because if it's for homestay, of course, then they would choose the location, they can choose the unit size that they like.
Yeah. Just one person's opinion.
Yeah, just one person's opinion. But if it's for investment, and of course, their option might be a little bit more restrictive, because there are some properties, right, although they can be priced in like 800, 900K, but that doesn't mean they should buy it, because the exit might not be as good.
Especially those who are just looking at one-beders or studios.
Yeah.
The price point is a lot easier, but then the exit point, you can only basically sell to other singles as well, which the pool of buyers is a lot less.
So recently I served a few single buyers, right? If they can afford two bedder, I would definitely say go for two bedders,
Yeah.
right? And because if they are going for investment, then we will go for layout as well. So if it's dumbbell layout, then they can rent like to different
The
tenant
different unit, yeah.
rather than the whole unit, or they can stay into one and then they can rent out one,
Yeah.
right? But most of them, if they are not comfortable paying for two bedder, then they will go for one bedder.
Yeah.
But of course, unlike HDB, private doesn't have any grant, private doesn't have any scheme, but at least they still hold value. So although we say exit a bit difficult, but at least the value holds. Unlike HDB which is asset, that is going to be a decree one. Okay, but how to afford? Big question here now. We talk about buying, right?
Right.
So how to afford them?
I think if there's a single today like me, right? Okay, so if I'm buying a HDB, right, definitely I need to take up a HFT, HFT loans. That means per se it's like from HDB loan actually renting they need to loan me to buy a HDB house, right? But definitely if you're going for the private bank loan, that will be the case also. Yeah, I think for that, I think Jason, private, you want to touch on private?
Before we go to Jason, right? I think let's clarify a little bit for HFE.
Yeah.
Because HFE is very different from HLE last time.
Yes.
So that could be a different topic altogether, but we just briefly going to touch about it.
Yeah.
HFE, regardless you can take bank or HDB loan, you still have to apply for it. Loan or bank loan.
Exactly. And right now, what I encounter, right, people actually have different type of type of loan from HDB. Every time they actually apply again and again kind of thing. So you really have to plan well. I would say so lah. Yeah.
Of course, for private it'll be easier lah, right?
Yeah, because private there's no HDB restrictions, no eligibility.
Yes.
The only main restriction is the money.
Yes.
So I think some options which singles out there, some of them might not have considered as well, which is something co-investing. So I think there are a lot of single working professionals out there who might not be planning to purchase their flat anytime soon because they haven't reached 35 yet. But they actually do have the income to take up the loan to go into the private market. But a lot of the challenge is that down payment itself.
Yes.
Yeah. So there are some of our clients, the options is that they can potentially borrow that small bit of money from, let's say, their parents, their relatives, and co-invest in a property itself, a private property, and then later on pay them back. Yeah. So I think this is one good option because for the next 3, 4, 5 years, if you are not planning to get a property because you haven't reached 35 yet, you at least have this property that can either rent out and get your tenants to help you pay for your mortgage, or you can basically accumulate the appreciation in terms of that property so that by the time you really need to purchase one later on, you at least have a higher starting point than before you didn't buy anything.
So how much the down payment that we are all talking about then?
Okay, so in the private market, right, I think the simplest term is that there is 25% down payment that you need to put in. This can be in cash or CPF. Just 5% is the minimum cash. Yeah, but to factor in for buyer's stamp duty as well, we usually add in another 4% as well for singles who might not be looking at too high a quantum of property that they're buying as well. Yeah, so at least factor in for 29 to 30% of the down payment, which considers into both cash and CPF. Yeah.
But you're saying about resale, right? Because new launch would then have a different payment scheme.
Yeah, exactly. I think for new launch itself, it's slightly lower. I would say slightly lower. Yeah, in terms of the down payment. The thing is that you can't rent it out, but you can actually tap onto the appreciation in value and the lower mortgage payment that you have to pay on a monthly basis because it's on a progressive scheme.
So a little bit more about the new launch thing is because 5% will be the booking fee, and then after subsequently will be the 20%, right? Then after which the payment is not like resale whereby the 75% loan kicks in. It only starts when they build foundation, then you ask for disbursement of funds. And then every month is still deductible by CPF. and it's not the full lump sum. So by right, I know a lot of people say, oh, now interest rate very high, but by the time the full loan really kicks in, then maybe the interest rate will like
slightly drop, I guess.
I mean, we will say it's dropping.
Yeah,
It's dropping now anyway.
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
So I think we pretty much touched on finances, talk about all the schemes involved, but there's always a single, like a lot of what if, right? A lot of things to precaution, like, so I think for this part, we want to walk you guys through about what if, I buy already, then hypothetically, I met another half kind of thing. Soon someone. I'm just kidding.
Soon.
Yeah.
We all soon. So the question would be, what if I get a partner after?
Yeah, that's right.
Right. I mean, what if we get a partner after? So for HDB, all in all, the truth is, if you're going to get HDB, there's a lot of restrictions.
Yes.
Yeah, right. So Vincent, for HDB, if you get a partner and you get a HDB, what would happen then?
Well, I think for this, right, it's like definitely if you're buying under the MOP, right, you bought a unit under NOP, really, frankly speaking, there's nothing much you can do until you suddenly do it until like maybe 45 years old, 50 years old. But
I mean, that's because you factor in the building time, right?
Because you're buying a BTO after all. But if you're buying, resale flat, so right now I'm 30 this year. So plus 5 more years, that'll be 35. So if in the meantime I met my another half, truthfully speaking, then I really cannot do anything much until then. Maybe I can sell my flat, or maybe can add my wife's, hypothetically my wife's name, to this flat to finance it altogether.
Otherwise, you have to sell it and then you get something else after that, right?
Correct.
There's always a need to sell and add the name inside. Correct. You can't get another HDB because it's already a married couple.
Yes,
I think that's one of the major restrictions.
Correct.
Recent news, there is this person who tried 8 times. Is it 8 times for the BTO?
Yeah, I think 8 times.
Yeah.
It's quite crazy.
So I think it's now 38, right?
Yes, I think so.
So by the time build finish, MOP,
lao already.
no lah, 40 over still not lao. What are you
Okay,
talking
no.
about? Of course, if you buy a private, there's less restrictive measure, but rules per se.
Implementations.
Yeah, implementation. So, Jason, would you like to carry us through?
Yeah, I think just before that, something to add on about what Vincent said about planning if what happens if you have a partner. So if let's say you get a flat that is the size is suitable for one person, that's where the challenge can come in, because if your partner comes in, you'll be fighting for space.
Right.
Yeah. So if let's say as a single person you can purchase a property that can cater to 2 in future as well, that would be the ideal case. Yeah.
Yes.
But for those who are single, they go for BTO and their only option is 2-room flexi, which is like maximum 45 square meters. Chances are if you get a partner, you will want to sell and purchase something larger. Yeah. So that's just something to caution about. And yeah, within the private side, of course, there's a little more flexibility because you could either rent out the current small, let's say if you have a 1-bedder or a studio, you can rent it out and combine with your partner, you can purchase another one. Ideally would be under her name only. Yeah, because then you wouldn't have the ABS.
I mean, if let's say you are single and you have your own property and I'm single and my own property, and we do meet each other and then we want to get a bigger unit, then we can both sell both and get one bigger one.
Exactly.
I mean, there's a lot of permutation and for this aspect.
Yeah. So the key thing is plan.
Yes. So all in all, planning is a key. We have said so many times in all our videos, and the finances, of course, because we are single, so we do not have a combined income to work on. So when I work with my single buyers, right, I'm really very, very particular about the calculation.
It is true.
So do reach out to us for very, very detailed finances and for planning. Or if you want to seek out any options that you are looking at, do just speak to us, get us coffee. We are okay. I love coffee. You might not be ready now, but at least you know the numbers. And then you know which direction and which aspect that is for you out there. Be it a HDB or be it a condo.
Right.
And that's it for today.
All right. Thank you.
See you next time.
See ya.